All right, December 1st, we're running through some tickers. This is our second take. The people in the room were cool enough. Did not have audio the first time. Real quick, I will have a separate video tonight or tomorrow morning for the strategy for this coming week. This is the SPX picture that shows us that the S&P outdid itself, basically behind the leadership of Apple and the financials, and there was no drag from the healthcare. Industrials were strong too. The NASDAQ, if I take the QQQ or the NDX, will tell us the same way. The same thing, that the NASDAQ were very respectful inside the zone. I think that was because of the drag of NVIDIA. So Apple is key for next week. Let's jump into the first stock is American Airlines. Great trend. They broke out and they are establishing footing like they did here. Broke out, establishing footing. The idea is to make another high. Be careful chasing this. It's pretty high up in the air. Expectations might be overblown in stocks like this one and Walmart. Apple is our second pick. Really strong these days. They're pushing it when NVIDIA is lacking. They want to buy something and NVIDIA is not ready to go. So they go and dump it in Apple. It had 2 big days last week. Let's see if they're able to go above 239. If they are at 240, that means the bearish scenario for the short term has been dinged, and I would just not short it, just let it go. I wouldn't chase it either. AbbVie, they had a bad day. They had a bad stint after the election, the whole industry, healthcare and biotech, and they just recovered half of it. Anything above here is going to be difficult. So if I bought the dip for a trade, I would be out here. Airbnb, so it's stuck in the middle of a huge seller. Anything above 142, 143 is going to be hard to buy calls into. And anything below at 130 should be hard support until it's lost. And if you lose that, you might take another $10 dip. So as an investor, I'm okay to be in it, or I'm okay to start a position. However I do it, buy shares, sell put spreads. I would not buy calls. Call spreads maybe, but they have to be pretty smart. So kind of stuck in a pretty wide, very wide, extremely wide range. Adobe, I think we're back to where we were. All right, I would like it closer to 497, 498. I don't like it above 528 because it has failed there and at 540 before heavily. So I think there are sellers above and buyers below, kind of like the same statement as the other stock. Cut it put spreads might work, calls might not. 527.5 is resistance, and it can be a trigger if they take it out. Okay, I don't like how the stock is behaving, even though I think we drew pretty good lines on it. Wow, that was an amazing line. I sure hope you listened to me on that one. I said they would drop, pop, and drop. Well, they dropped, popped a little bit, and dropped to the target. All right, so now that they hit our target, it is a long as a trading statement. They might bounce to 1450 or 15, but it definitely is not a clear long for the long term. Do your homework on whatever the hell that is. AES, where are the fundamentals? Okay, just do your homework. If you're looking to get long, this would be a starting point, half position. If you're looking to invest in the company, trading wise, you might also make money on a small bounce. Ally, I don't like banks, definitely not this one. This is GMAC of old. If you remember that company that went belly up or something like that. 32 is a support. You better not lose it. If you lose it, you go to 24. Until then, you have an opportunity and hiccups at 45. 44 sellers, 45 sellers. You take out 45, you can get to 50 or 51. Depends, are you investing or you're trading? Different actions for either of those two people. I would be buying dips if I was trading. Looking left, they erased whatever happened here. Anything above here should be difficult. So I would buy the dip into 37.5 or 37. Ambarella, oh, we're back into cameras now? Okay, that's a camera company, no? Yeah, so I don't trade stocks like that. Hopefully you're invested in it already. Chasing it up here seems silly. That's where it's failed before multiple times. Look how wide this thing is. Horrific price action. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. My goodness. If you're an investor, that's fine. You may have done your homework but as a trading stock, it's bleh, would not be anything I would touch anytime. Nevertheless, if I look left, look, there's a box in it from a long time ago. That box should be a problem. We shall see. AMD, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, to be honest. Until Lisa Su comes out and says, okay, here's how AI is going to be a boom for us like it was for NVIDIA. What are we doing here? I would rather be in Intel or NVIDIA. Intel at least is a long shot for miracle recovery. This one isn't yet. Technically, this is a long from here to 148, 150, if that's what you're asking. 142 is a problem along the way. So this thing can bounce to 140 and 144. Those are immediate two targets. They're trying to get to 151. But there's a bunch of selling zones in between. If you want one number, 145 plus or minus $1. So credit put spreads, debit call spread combination might work best for that trade. This way, you're long without a lot of money out of pocket against good support. If you lose that support, so if it goes below 132, $10 at risk. Amazon, I believe Monday we will probably wake up to a retail report. Anybody? Do you guys know when they report on Cyber Weekend? Not Cyber Monday, but the weekend sale, I should say, like Black Friday sales. If the retail reports are high, and remember, the message is manipulated. Okay, the message is manipulated. So you're long Amazon, okay. I wouldn't be long against all of these, but these are the if they go above 216, it's a catalyst. So target zone 1, they've hit it twice already. I think it's a lot of scar tissue now, as I call them, until they take out 216. Then it becomes a catalyst. Oh, I see. Yeah, I did too. I've been buying a lot. I just told you about Starlink. It's something I absolutely do not need, a satellite. Okay, I did not buy it on Amazon though. Bought it on Best Buy to go pick it up. It was $150 cheaper. Starlink is having a sale, or was. All right, Amazon stock, good company. I would sell a put spread. I would not buy a call. Speaking of good companies, this one is too. The reaction for the earnings was puzzling. There was another stock that did this, Airbnb, I think. So look at that. It's going to take a monster push to break through this massive fail. That statement's still there. So anything above here is hideous resistance. I told you I've seen one stock push through it, and that was Amazon a couple years ago, maybe last year. But it had the benefit of I think it was last May. Let me see. That might be stupid to go back in time and trying to do this. Yes, this one. You see it? This long stick? Yep, but then it had NVIDIA's push that took the markets to high heaven. That long stick. So you tell me, what stock were we doing? ANET. It definitely is a quality company, but is it Amazon quality as far as trading? We'll see. This P&L is better than Amazon, but is it as good as a trader? So I think this box is going to stand for a long time, which makes the downside scenario more likely, which almost came to fruition once. So they got half of it. So now it is 423 or above resistance, and you have a pretty solid support below. Nothing to be done here. Selling puts or put spreads would work for me. Applied Digital. Target 1 is 9, and they came close to it. They're going to try it again. I think it could get to 820, 830. We'll see. The resistance above is pretty tough, but it's also a catalyst. So the bulls need to break out of 11. APP, I'm not sure why you bother asking. Just buy it and hold it. This is a great P&L. The stock is going to the moon. The only question about this is I'm asking Wall Street, what the were you thinking putting it down here in the first place? So were you that weird about it? There's something weird about this. Okay, so to be honest, I don't remember what their price to sales is. Let's see statistics. 26. That's bizarre. How did they misprice it? They go from $2 price to sales to 26 within quarters. That is and the P&L has been this good for a while. So it's not like they just figured it out. What is going on? Why is it so mispriced? There's a mystery here. I lost money twice on it. Once because I wanted, and both times actually because of somebody said, check it out. And I will never trade it again just because it doesn't make sense. So I don't want to argue with crazy. I don't mind losing money, but losing it twice is painful. The second time is not lost, it's losing. So we'll see. Luckily, it's only one contract. So what am I saying about this one? I don't know anything about it. The chart doesn't make sense. The financials don't make sense as a relationship to the chart. We're missing a piece of the puzzle. Why would they misprice it so badly for so long and then suddenly no? Yeah, don't touch it. Don't touch it. If you're trying to short it, leave it alone. ARKK. So this is okay. It's elevated. As technically speaking, it's shortable down to 55, 54.7, hopefully to 52 if you're shorting. That box I put in purple, that's a weak spot. If they get to it, if they get into 52.50, I think they get to 49.50 pretty fast. There's no support. They rally too fast. This is probably on the back of Tesla. I forget which other companies are leading as far as size. It's a collection. It's an ETF. I mean, it's a good growth ETF. If the market's higher, this will be higher. This is the puzzle. One of the best P&Ls, and it's descending channel. I added this forecast. I don't remember when, but that might be the next few weeks. Look at it. You have sellers at 142, plus or minus. Those two blue lines include a lot of sellers. And you have a bunch of support. If you lose 126, I think this one goes to 115, 116. For some reason, they love it and they hate it at the same time. I think there was a headline that NVIDIA sold out of it or rolled some money out of this one into another company. Who cares? Seriously. ASAN. I wouldn't touch it up here. It's too high for me. It's THTH. Remember that? Too high to chase, too hot to short. Sellers above 1580 and buyers scattered all the way down to 1320. If the markets has a hiccup, this one goes to 1320. If not, it'll still try to take out old levels. So when the stock does this, it becomes really hard to forecast. It came from the sky. I mean, look at this. What the hell? I don't trade stocks that do this. I've traded ASAN for us. But when there are morons doing this stuff with the stock, I don't want to be with these morons. I don't want to swim in the same pool with people who are going to soil the water for me on purpose. So a stock that does this is not a stock worthy of my time. That's the best way I can say it. If you pull up an inverse ETF like the VXX, which is completely manipulated, you get this kind of a chart. And this is completely manipulated. It reverse splits every so many months in order not to go to zero. It is manipulated out and out by Wall Street. And then you get a stock that does this with this chart. I don't touch it. What are we trading here? It's a good company. Okay company, I should say, P&L wise. We've traded it on the long side. Anything above 1750, difficult. If I'm long, I'm out. ASML, the exact opposite statement. This is a good P&L trying to dig itself out from a hole. It came to our arrow like to $1 from up here. So we know what we're doing. We didn't draw this one in hindsight. It came exactly to a couple of arrows. And on paper, this can go back to 820, if not 880. But you look left and you wonder, how much upside potential is there if the market just has a little hiccup? But technically, if I bought the dip, that was correct. There is potential for more downside, but a lot of the froth is out, and what's left is a lot of meat. If not here, 520, 540, 560 is a good spot to go long. So if you sold puts or put spreads, that's perfect. You can add calls or call spreads if you're looking to generate alpha. Okay, ASPN, I don't know who that is, Aspen, okay. It's trying to base after a long dip. And so 17 is possible, I guess, if they can establish a higher low trend. This is not there. That's what they want to try to establish. That's a question mark. We don't know that. They're still in a descending channel. So it's been falling for quite a bit. And the channel is not like, oh, they're touching edges. The behavior, sell rallies. Now, have they started the ascending channel? We don't know. Maybe it's only going to go sideways for now to establish a base. So this is what I would have. This is a proper bottoming process. This is what it will look like. Okay, so you go sideways for a little bit, and then you start climbing higher. If you make a lower low, you go to 1150. So this is another great company. Like between this one and American Airlines or United Airlines up in the sky with this P&L being solid, I would take this one. I have to admit, I don't know why it flipped to losing money here. It's not that it's end of the world, but it's interesting. You're at risk of going to 150 if the market has a hiccup, and your opportunity is going to 168. It wants to go to 168 unless it goes to 150 first, and then I would go along there. So credit put spread could work. Earnings in 11 days, so I would not touch it. Boeing, we said it was trying to bottom, and if you sold puts to own shares or sold the put spread, that's great. If you sold the put spread, think about selling the call spread to make it into an iron condor. So look left. You remember back a few weeks, maybe a couple months, actually September, I drew these purple things. I said, it's tight. I don't know what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And boom, down. Well, now it's coming back into that something. Definitely not an easy long. 163 could be a catalyst to 175, and I would short it up there. In fact, I can sell naked calls right now against it, or covered calls. Get in at 148. If you like it, sure. You can sell a put. I would not sell a put at 148. I would sell a put spread at 148. But I don't want to own it at 148. The last put I sold on it was in the 120s. All right, this is Peabody. They broke out. Perfect. They came back to test the neckline. So far, so good. They need to get up to 25, 50, or 26, and they need to not to come back, because if they do, they go to 22. So this is where they're testing footing. How close to 2250 are they going to get? Nick is number one. No. Caterpillar. Cat. Great company. Respect it. I said vulnerable. It hit that vulnerability once already. This arrow belongs to here. So that came already to fruition. But guess what? I can renew it. Vulnerable from here to here. Lower. Okay. So I say vulnerable, but I respect Caterpillar. Above 421, it can go to 444. And I would short it there. So if it goes to here, it'll be vulnerable up here. You get it? Support, scattered. You must hold 360. I don't know why you wouldn't. But if you lose 360, it's going to 325. So vulnerable is different than saying it's going to 325. Vulnerable will be just a small dip. Great company, don't short it for no reason. Not a great company, although I went long every time it dipped, but not here. Earnings in 3 days. You have this long stick that you haven't recovered probably from the last earnings report. When was this? No, it isn't. I don't know what the hell this was. It was not the earnings. It's like 2 weeks after, a month after the earnings. Whatever this was, look left, problem area. If you're going long here, you know something that I don't. This P&L does not require you to go higher. Again, it's one of those escargot stocks now that I don't touch because of what it did in the pandemic. If you have idiots trying to get their money back up here, I don't want to be in the same pool of that. I like the company. I've defended it many times on the way down. I would not. Oh, Kitty, was that? Okay, awesome. Yeah, I most definitely would not touch that. If I'm long, I'm out. Coin, I would not touch that. Who are these companies? So I'll tell you why Coin I don't like. I've said it 100 times. I'll explain it one more time for the people that haven't heard it. This stock depends heavily, if not almost completely, on something that they cannot control, which is the price of Bitcoin for some reason. Charles Schwab stock doesn't depend on the price of the S&P. Why is this one tied? Somebody might be able to explain it, but if they don't hoard actual coins, shouldn't they be able to make money regardless of where the price of Bitcoin is? But anyway, so the fact that I have to worry about their own P&L, and then on top of it, the price of Bitcoin, I would never touch it. Bitcoin is at 100,000, and I want to invest in this one. Let's see where Bitcoin is today. Okay, well, 99.8, and coin. Let's say Bitcoin drops 30-40%. What's going to happen to the stock? You're saying it's not going to happen. Bitcoin drops 30 to 40% almost every year, if not once or twice a year. So yeah, they do drop, and this stock will suffer accordingly. So it's not for me. If I'm long, I'm out. If you're invested in it, just think about how much money did you want out of it? What is your target? What would get you out? What were your expectations? And it's back at the pandemic levels. Man, I do not want to be here in this stock. No. Okay, so Campbell's soup. I've said before, everybody needs a little bit of Campbell's soup in their portfolio because it acts weird during bad times. This one had a good rally during the 2022 correction. Technically, you have better support than, actually, you have a lot of support into 39 and 40, and you have even a lot of resistance above 52, 51 and a half. So there's nothing to do here. Credit put spreads maybe, or own shares for the long term, but earnings in 3 days, and I honestly don't know how it reacts to their earnings. Let's see on a daily chart if it looks any different. It hit target. 48 is a target, give or take $1. CRM, too high, vulnerable, earnings in 2 days. Earnings aside, I think this one goes to 290 or 295, but the earnings might take it to 395. I don't know. So I will trade it after the earnings. I think that's an all-time high. It looks like it. We'll take that. Look at this here. Lowest price target, lowest price. That was one of the earnings report. It comes out, the stock reacts. Look how many of them lowest price target. I guarantee you, if it spikes after the earnings, they all come out and raise price target. These guys are morons. I mean, who pays them money? Whoever these guys are, all of them. Evercore, Wedbush, Raymond, UBS, BMO, Truist, Stifel, Canaccord, Oppenheimer. Not one of them was out of the box. They're all lowers, lowers, lowers. Piper Jaffray, whatever. Just morons. Good company. I'll buy the dip. What level would I be interested in it? Below 290, you could convince me to sell a put spread. CrowdStrike, same. I would buy the dip. I think it's going to 310, if not 290 or 280. I would not be surprised to see it at 280. This is a daily chart. Okay, let's go into this one. Yeah, so you see they're trying to draw. It's a technical thing. They're trying to draw a head and shoulders. So I'll tell you this. You see this here? So this one, if they lose 339, give or take, they might try to recover it one more time, and they might do this. There might be some open spaces down here. There definitely are. So there should be. This is just one of many, probably. No, not many. Okay. So they might end up at 310, 12, 14, 15. Meaning I wouldn't hold calls. I think this is a pretty potential path. Resistance at 360 zone. 360 zone is resistance. So I would say here. So that's a visual. That's a technical thing. Company-wise is okay for me. I mean, I have no issues with it. Cisco, too high. I think we shorted it and made money. Was that Oracle? I can't remember. So the question is, are they topping? Right? That was that arc. Is this a topping formation? That long stick is going to be pretty difficult to take out. Let's see if they can take out 60-50. If not, I think this would be a better entry point somewhere in the 52s. Somewhere in here. Yeah, inside this long stick right there. Datadog, wouldn't touch it. Let's see here. Is it a pandemic stock? It is. I wouldn't touch it at the risk of missing out a rally to 300. See, I don't know why they do this. Look at this big rally here. On what? There was no huge improvement. So the forecast must have been fantastic. So read up on it. Why would it leave two gaps? And it wasn't on earnings. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Why does it go up like this? Anyway, this here, I can give you a definite statement on it. NOPE. Nope, not an obvious point of entry. If you're taking longs here, then you know that something that I don't know. Technically, if I wanted to engage on the long side, I would want it under 135. 135, my number. Your number might be different. Okay, so we made money on this one, I think. DELL. Look at that. It came back into prior letters that we had set as R, which were resistance, and now we have some supports. All these letter S's. Let me zoom in. It fell into support. To be honest, I looked at the P&L and it's not good. I don't know why it was rallying like the P&L is good. This is a manipulated stock. I don't touch it. There's a chance this is a 2-digit stock in the next 6 months. There is a chance. There's also a chance it's a $150 stock, and that's why I don't touch it. The P&L does not inspire upside. The technicals do inspire downside, but they always find themselves throwing headlines. Oh, we're going to split and cut off this company and split off. I had that debate in the live room this past week, and somebody said, you don't understand, they're selling servers too, and I forgot what that was. I was like, okay, so where is that? Where is it in the P&L? No, it's about the future. Okay, so where is it in the forecast? It's definitely not in the next quarter forecast because they forecasted the same level sales as they did this time. So all these future things are materializing in the P&L? No, materializing in the price of the stock, but nowhere in the P&L, nowhere in the forecast. So we are being sold a bill of goods, maybe? That I'm asking. I can tell you technically, you lose 118, you're going to 105, if not 102. It is not all stocks, no, because not all stocks do this on no improvements. This rally from here to here, that's a pretty big rally. And this rally from here to here, what's that all about when the P&L is this boring? That's what I have a problem with, aligning the price action with the reality. And that's where the disappointments come from. Anyway, my statement on this one is I would not buy the dip. If I'm long up here, I'm not adding here because I might have to add that 105. So from a trading perspective, you could go long. It's not for me because I think you're going to get a cheaper price. If you went long for a trade, you should know that 135 or higher is going to be difficult to recover. So that would be the trading statement without my opinion of what I think for the company. I think the stock has a really good chance of being 2 digits. But I don't want to argue with it. As in coin larger than the NYSE and CME combined market cap. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the coin thing. That's what I'm saying. Expectations are blown out of proportions. That's when disappointments happen in the stock market. And that's when you have crashes. They love it, they love it, they love it. They love it so much that they spit it out once they decide they don't like it. They hate it. They go from love to hate. Disney, this might be one of them. I thought to myself yesterday, I said these words last night. I was talking to a family member. I said, I hate myself for hating Disney right now, how political it's become. I mean, that's supposed to be the most happy place on earth. Technically speaking, this stock, if you look left, it's failed here every time. And the failures started in 2022, April. We're coming into, so think about it this way. The stock market bottomed in 2022 and we're at all-time highs. This one bottomed in 2023, a year after the market bottomed, October, exactly a year after the market bottomed. And now it's going back to where we crashed in 2022, where we bottomed in the problem area from 2022. Not inspiring for new longs. How about that? Not inspiring for new longs. Technically, you might have an entry at 104 or 102. DJT. So this is a... I'm afraid to say anything here for not it to come out political. So first thing Are you trading or investing? If you're an investor, I would just own the stock and forget about it. And if you're a trader, what are you trading? What do you know that I don't know? Are you in on the headlines? Are you in politically? If you're not, you're blind. Okay, so if you want to make money at playing basketball, would you be on a court of people that are normal, or would you be on a court where people cheat? Which court would you take? Well, this one has a lot of cheating going on with the headlines and the memes and he said, she said, and not for me. Technically speaking, 34 and 26. Lose 26, you go to 14, 16, take out 34, you might end up at 42, 43. That's all I can tell you. And the impressive part about this stock is I think it's the only SPAC that never went to $10. Close, but that I know. There might be another one, but the famous ones. DKS, okay, if someone shorted it, they made money. Now it's falling into a base of support. As long as it's above 187, if I'm short, I should know that everything below here is support. You lose 187, you can go to 167. Meanwhile, anything above 218 should be a problem. Anything above 215 might be a problem. I would not go long. 200.9 on this one. I can see that. That's fine. So somebody's shorting it based on a harmonic. I don't have it on my chart. But okay, I believe you. DLR. Okay, so we talked about this. I don't know anything about this stock. And the chart is, what is happening here? I probably said the same thing before. Oh, this is an all-time high. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on here. Is this an income story? Like, there's no bottom line. It's disappearing. Look at the net. If it's a dividend story, please monitor their cash flow. Dollar Tree, we discussed that to death too. Technically, it's trying to break out so it can get to 85, 84. And the resistance at here at 75 and 76 and 78 and 80. It's trying to recover whatever happened here. I wouldn't short it. And if you're long, I get it. If you're looking to get long, I would use dips into 68 to do it perfectly, I guess. Credit put spread and debit call spread to do that. Oh, wait, earnings in 3 days. Forget it. I wouldn't touch it until the earnings. Domino's, not for me. Definitely, I'll take the pizza, but not the stock. 460 was a trigger long. The problem with that for me is that long wick here is weird. No earnings. It goes to 520. Is this a fat finger and then trying to get there? So this red thing is bearish, but they already hit target 1 and almost target 2. And somewhere in between, they also went to here, which negated that red thing, but they still did target 2. Don't look at this red thing. Look at the fact that 450 or lower is a base of support, and they're trying to get to 520. That's the way I would see it. The easy long is gone. I wouldn't get long for that except with no money. Like if I can finance call spreads completely by selling a credit put spread, I would. Otherwise, I would not take money on it. Devon, still trying to find a bottom. Decent P&L, but Wall Street hates it. Lower lows and trying to bottom. So if you lose last week's low, you're probably going to go to 35. Continue this drift lower. Let's zoom out. Oh, look at that. We already had that plan. There is a weak spot in the chart until 30. So 31, 30. So if I'm long, I would not add. Let me rephrase. They can get to 48 and they better. Because for as long as they're below 44, they're probably going to drift lower. Much lower. Because they triggered multiple necklines that say they might price out half of this at least. So you could get a price at 30 in the next few weeks. And with that, video 1 is over.